एक नया इतिहास लिखेंगे.
Namaskar. Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad was the most progressive king of India in modern times. He was an accidental king actually, but immensely contributed not only for the development of Baroda state but for entire India. A child of 12 years from the family of a simple farmers from village Kaulana in Maharashtra state was unexpectedly adopted as a son and descendant of widowed Maharani of Baroda, Jamnabai Gaikwad. Till then, he had no schooling at all, but later in his life, he had a phenomenal contribution to the educational development of his state Baroda, but and entire India also. The most illustrious sons of India, like Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, the architect of Indian Constitution and the emancipator of untouchables in India, Maharshi Vittal Ramji Shinde, the great social reformist, Jnankoshkar, Dr. Sridhar Venkatesh Ketkar, and so many others could get the higher education in foreign universities because of the patronage of Sayajirao Maharaj only. Sayajirao had a formal education for 6 years only, that too from the age of 12 to 18 years, under the guidance of then British Civil Sergeant F.A.S. Eliot, ICS. But his quest for the knowledge continued till his last breath. Immediately after taking over the reins of the Baroda state, he started prominent educational reforms and started opening primary schools massively up to the level of village. He once said that throughout my reign, education has been the object of my constant care and attention. After Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule probably, he is the first prominent person to promote education of girls in India. When he was nominated as King of Baroda in 1975, there were only 2 schools for the girls with only 22 students. It rose to 332 schools for girls in 1909 with 23,975 students on roll. He started schools in the remotest villages inhabited by the poor and very backward tribals, Bhils, Kaliparaj and Waghes, like backward communities, were the direct beneficiaries of the schools established by Sayajirao Maharaj. He established a college in Baroda as early as 1882, which was imparting education to the students not only from Baroda state but from all over India. Actually, it was the foundation of Maharaja's fond dream of establishment of a modern university in Baroda state. It was realized by his grandson Maharaja Pratap Singh in 1949. The well-known revolutionary and spiritualist Yogi Arvind Ghosh was the vice principal of this college and professor in this college. The notable alumni of Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda are Dr. Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, the Nobel laureate, Miss Hamsaben Mehta, the first Lady Vice Chancellor of India, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, who developed the Param computer for India, the eminent technocrat Dr. Sam Pitroda, Acharya Vinoba Bhave, Dadasaheb Phadke, former governor of RBI I.G. Patel, lawyer, writer and politician K.M. Munshi, and many more artists, writers, scientists, politicians and bureaucrats. Maharaja laid the foundation of technical education in India by establishing the institution known as Kala Bhavan as early as 1890. Therein, the engineering trades like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, textile engineering, chemical engineering, and many more other branches were taught. The most revolutionary educational reform of Maharaja was free and compulsory education, which was started in 1893 in Amreli district on pilot basis, and further it was universalized in 1906 in the entire state of Baroda. Surprisingly, only Baroda state had this unique distinction. Independent India, it was introduced in 2009 through the Right to Education Act 2009. Expansion of schools needed the trained teachers. Thus, he established teachers training institutes in Baroda in 1882, that is just 1 year after getting the full-fledged powers of the King of Baroda, that too at the age of 19 only. Those uh, training institutes were for training the lady teachers also. In 1891, there were 558 schools in the Baroda state and 632 new primary schools with the aid from state were established to boost up the school education in Baroda state. The percentage expenditure of budget on education was manifold as compared to the expenditure incurred by the government today. Lot can be learned from Sayajirao by the current rulers and administrators. Thus, number of students in 1904 were 52,828 in Baroda state, out of which 2,200 were girls. It rose to 3,31,218 at the time of death of Maharaja in 1939, out of which 1,09,144 were the girl students in those days. He even established the agriculture schools for the benefit of the children of farmers and deputed many students to foreign countries for advanced education in agriculture, considering that India is the agrarian economy which can be followed by the rulers and administrators of today all over the world. Sayajirao and the Baroda state were far ahead of their times to give fillip to the physical education as well, and it was to nurture the good health of students. It was so progressive in approach that there were no gender discrimination in physical education. Everyone will be astonished to know that the modern library science and library movement in India owes to Sayajirao Maharaj's vision. For this, he appointed an American librarian, Dr. William Borden, as Director of Libraries for Baroda State. Under his highly accomplished librarian, advanced libraries with lakhs of books were established in Baroda city. The movement of library was not limited to the city of Baroda only and cities only. The books were delivered to the doorsteps of even the huts of poor people in the remotest area, in hilly areas, through mobile libraries, by vans, bullock carts, mules, or whatever mode of transportation was available in those days. Maharaja roped in knowledgeable persons to write many books in all the branches of knowledge, including books for the neo-literates, which were the product of his adult education initiatives. It has achieved the highest literacy rate in Baroda state. Baroda state was having the unique distinction of having mobile libraries in the world, which were only available in the Ireland. Even America could not achieve this distinction. In 1924-25, Baroda state had 43 city libraries, 618 village libraries, 87 study rooms, and the beneficiaries of these modern facilities were to the tune of 47,506 numbers. People won't believe if I tell that this Hindu Maharaja was progressive enough to set up the Urdu schools for his Muslim population right from 1892 to 1893, and by 1925 there were 124 Urdu schools in Baroda state catering to the education of around 10,000 Muslim students. The educational endeavor of enlightened King Maharaja Sayajirao was not limited to his Baroda state only. He donated generously to the various institutions from all over the nation. The Central Library on the lines of British Museum in Banaras Hindu University, BHU, owes its modern existence to the huge donation of rupees 1 lakh by Maharaja Sayajirao. Its value in present terms can be whopping rupees 50 crores. There are many such beneficiary institutes all over India, including our Maharashtra state. He had given thrust on educational research also, hence established the Oriental Research Institutes in Baroda, in which many intellectuals were employed. He was so progressive that his wife, who was illiterate at the time of marriage, has rose to such a position in educational status that she wrote a book on women in English. He was the first person in India to recognize the importance of women's education. In National Social Conference in Mumbai on 30th December 1904, he narrated that by denial of education to women, we deprive ourselves of half the potential force of the nation. Deny to our children the advantage of having cultured mother, and by shunting the faculties of the mother affect injuriously the heredity of the entire race. We create moreover a gulf of mental division in the home itself and put a powerful drag on progress by making the woman a great conservative force that clings to everything old, however outworn or irrational it is. But a modern and scientific outlook Maharaja Sayajirao had, but a deep thinking he was having about the educational endeavors. Lot can be learned by our politicians, our bureaucrats in modern days also from late Sayajirao Maharaj. We salute to his creative activities in educational field, creative reforms in the field of education. Thanks.
एक नया इतिहास लिखेंगे।